So earlier this week, there was this post of three brothers making a video call, and apparently became a big deal for saying Pogba is better than me. If you were a casual, you wouldn't understand it, but if you know, you know this is not just a normal three brother picture. But who do we have here? We have Paul Pogba, Matthias Pogba, and Florentine Pogba. They're just three brothers, right? Wrong. Goes deeper, and I dare say darker, in a story of juju, witchcraft, hatred, enmity, extortion. This is the crazy world of the Pogbas. So the Pogbas were raised by a single loving mom in the streets of France, and would all later try out football. But then, of all the brothers, Paul's career would blossom, winning the World Cup with France in 2018. Prior to that, was in the finals of the Euros in 2016 held in France. Used to play for Juventus. Then after he sparkled in 2016, moved from Juventus to Manchester United. Everything was going on well with Pogba. His other brothers, Matthias and Florentine, just didn't have their football careers kicking off. So after 2018, after winning the World Cup, everything is hunky-dory in the Pogba family. Pogba used to send his brother a lot of money after his World Cup winning. I mean, takes care of family. But then, at a point, the money stops coming, or he ceases to send the money. In 2022, Pogba, he was having a bit of turmoil in his career, but in 2022, whilst he was walking down the street of Paris, he was kidnapped by gunmen wielding guns at a point-blank gun range, and they demanded 30 million euros from him. The shocking thing is that out of the gunmen, one of them was his brother Matthias. Pogba was able to generate some money for them, but it was not up to the 30 million, it was around 150,000 euros. The crazy thing is that not only was his brother part of the gunmen, but the gunmen were also made up of people he grew up with, people he knew when he was growing up with, people I dare say he played soccer with when he was growing up with. Apart from that, they started making extortion cases. They started extorting him to pay for protection services because apparently they protected him and he owes them that money. When Pogba wouldn't pay the 30 million subsequently, this is after he had been kidnapped, his brother decided that, you know what, I'm going to go on the internet and make explosive revelation about Pogba. So let's take a look at a bit of that explosives.
Hi everyone, this is Matthias Pogba. I will announce you that soon I will make great revelation about my brother Paul Pogba and Rafaela Pimenta, a lawyer, a friend, a confidant, the one who called today the most powerful woman of football, and called by my brother his second mother. For those who don't know me, I'm a professional footballer and also a big brother of the world champion Paul.
So this guy, Matthias, he's actually a funny guy. Out of his biggest revelation was that, I think the one that actually shook the football world a bit, was that Paul Pogba actually consulted a witch doctor to place a curse on fellow French national team member Kylian Mbappe. However, Pogba will come out to address this issue that he didn't consult a witch doctor, in our parlance what we call juju. He didn't see a juju man or a juju woman or a shaman to invoke curses or place a curse on his teammates. However, if you know Pogba had a lot of injuries had disrupted his career, so he used that for his own protection. And these were part of the shocking revelations or whatever his brother had to see. But then, even away from the family drama, Pogba's career was really taking a dive. From playing for the likes of Manchester United, he had a falling out with Manchester United. He had a lot of injuries. This guy was probably one of the best. He then went back to Juventus, and in Juventus he barely had a lot of appearances for them. And to make matters worse, he was found for doping and was banned for 4 years. But later, subsequently, CAS will reduce the ban because it was done, albeit it was done inadvertently. But even whilst he was at Juventus, his brothers could storm the training ground. Pogba will have to hide because they wanted to extort money from him. But then in the long run, the French court would find his brother Matthias guilty for the role he played in the kidnapping and extortion of his own brother Paul Pogba. He was given a 3 years sentence with 2 years on parole. So you can understand the impact it has had on someone like Paul Pogba. His career has dipped or dived, but I mean, for those who are Christians, there's a saying that God being so good, Paul Pogba has been able to piece back his career bit by bit. And just last season, he was able to join Monaco back in the French league. He has not been football fit for a very long time because of the ban. He was banned from playing football, but he's been able to piece his life back together. And that brings us back to the story, or back to the picture. This picture came out earlier this week, and then the question is, because it seems like the Pogbas have reunited, he's back with his brothers, they are all laughing, they are all happy. But then the thing is, if it were to be you, would you be back with someone who has clearly shown you who they are? I don't know. I don't think I can do that. Pogba is a good man.